Number 10. Sitting. Yes, that comfortable thing you're doing right now is slowly killing you. Turns out your body wasn't designed for 8 to 10 hours of Netflix marathons and TPS reports. We've gone from hunter-gatherers running after antelopes to sad desk jockeys whose most strenuous daily activity is reaching for the last donut in the break room. Scientists have actually started calling sitting the new smoking, which is pretty insulting to smoking if you think about it. Smoking at least had the decency to look cool in black and white photographs. Here's the horrifying part. Even if you exercise regularly, prolonged sitting still increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and premature death by up to 40%. Your body essentially starts shutting down after just 30 minutes in a chair. Your metabolism drops faster than your grandma's internet connection, and your legs develop the blood circulation of a mannequin. The enzyme that breaks down fat literally stops working, as if it's giving up on you and your life choices. The crazy part is, we've designed our entire civilization around this slow suicide method. From school desks, to office chairs, to couches, to car seats, we've built a world where sitting is the default. So congratulations. The very thing that separates us from animals, furniture, is what's sending us to an early grave. Evolution is slow clapping at our ingenuity. Number 9. Sleeping wrong. That thing you do for a third of your life? Yeah, you're probably screwing that up too. Most people sleep like drunk penguins on roller skates, inefficient, painful to watch, and ultimately destructive. Your fancy memory foam mattress might feel like heaven, but if it's too soft, your spine is throwing a nightly torture party that your nerves are all invited to. The human neck wasn't designed to be propped up on 3 pillows like you're some kind of Victorian aristocrat with consumption. Each extra inch your neck bends forward adds about 10 pounds of pressure. So if you're scrolling through your phone in bed before sleep, which you absolutely are, you're basically balancing a small child on your cervical spine. And don't get me started on stomach sleepers. You're essentially waterboarding your own spine for 8 hours straight. Sleep apnea affects about 22 million Americans, many undiagnosed. And it's basically your body playing a fun game called, let's see how long we can stop breathing tonight. The oxygen deprivation is like giving your organs a tiny taste of death every night. It's like your body is taking trial runs at the afterlife while you're dreaming about flying or showing up to work naked. The kicker? Poor sleep quality is linked to everything from Alzheimer's to heart disease to reduced immune function. So, sweet dreams, I guess. Number 8. Your daily commute. That soul-crushing journey you make twice a day is killing you faster than a cigarette-smoking contest at an asbestos factory. The average American spends about 54 hours a year stuck in traffic, which is basically like setting fire to a small portion of your lifespan while simultaneously inhaling particulate matter that's settling into your lungs like unwanted house guests. Studies show that commutes longer than 30 minutes correlate with higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Your blood pressure rises with each minute spent in gridlock, and your cortisol levels spike higher than a volleyball player on a trampoline. The human body interprets sitting in traffic as a low-grade fight-or-flight situation, except you can neither fight nor flee. You're just trapped in a metal box listening to morning radio hosts with voices that somehow sound both caffeinated and dead inside. The real kicker is that all this commuting is for a job you probably complain about anyway. So you're literally shortening your life to spend more time doing something you don't enjoy, to earn money to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like. It's like paying for your own execution and then getting stuck in traffic on the way there. But hey, at least you got to listen to that podcast about how to live your best life while your actual life was actively getting worse. Number 7. Processed food. That convenient, delicious stuff making up about 60% of the average American diet? It's basically edible time travel, fast-forwarding you to your funeral. Ultra-processed foods are engineered to hit your bliss point, that perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that makes your brain light up like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Scientists in food labs aren't asking, is this nutritious? They're asking, will this make someone involuntarily mumble, while eating it in their car? These foods are preserved with chemicals that sound like rejected superhero names. Butylated hydroxytoluene? Sounds like Batman's tech guy. Sodium nitrite? Probably an alien from Superman. Your grandparents wouldn't recognize half the ingredients in modern food because they're not actually food. They're science experiments that happen to be edible. The scary part is what these foods do inside you. They trigger inflammation like you're constantly fighting off an internal invasion. Your gut microbiome, those trillions of bacteria that help regulate everything from digestion to immunity, gets more destabilized than a Jenga tower at a kindergarten birthday party. Studies show that for every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption, your risk of death rises by 14%. So that microwavable burrito isn't just convenient, it's conveniently lethal. But don't worry, you'll die with the taste of artificial nacho cheese still lingering pleasantly on your tongue. Worth it? Number 6. Chronic dehydration. Turns out that thing covering 70% of the planet and making up 60% of your body? You're probably not getting enough of it. Most people walk around in a perpetually dehydrated state that's slowly pickling their organs like forgotten vegetables in the back of your fridge. When you're dehydrated, your blood literally gets thicker, and your heart has to work harder to pump it around. It's like trying to push molasses through a straw. Your kidneys, which filter about 120 to 150 quarts of blood daily, start panicking without enough fluid. They're like overworked bouncers at the metabolic waste nightclub of your body, and without enough water, they start letting in all the sketchy toxins. Your brain, which is about 73% water, actually shrinks and pulls away from your skull when dehydrated. Yes, your brain literally contracts like it's trying to distance itself from your poor life decisions. The ridiculous part is we've replaced water, the literal elixir of life that's been hydrating organisms for billions of years, with everything from liquid candy, soda, to bean juice, coffee, to fermented depression, alcohol. All of which actually dehydrate you further. It's like replacing your car's engine oil with maple syrup and wondering why there's smoke coming from under the hood. Your body is basically a houseplant with more complicated emotions, and you can't even remember to water it properly. Number 5. Your smartphone addiction. That glowing rectangle you check 96 times a day, yes, that's the actual average, is rewiring your brain faster than a squirrel on amphetamines trying to solve the Rubik's Cube. Every notification triggers a dopamine hit, turning you into a Pavlovian dog salivating for digital treats. Your attention span has been reduced to that of a goldfish with ADHD. Actually, that's unfair to goldfish, who can at least focus on swimming in circles without checking Instagram. The blue light from screens suppresses melatonin production, tricking your brain into thinking it's perpetually daytime. Your circadian rhythm is more confused than a tourist reading a subway map upside down. Sleep quality plummets, and poor sleep is linked to everything from decreased cognitive function to increased risk of stroke, heart disease, and even certain cancers. The psychological effects are even worse. Studies show excessive smartphone use correlates with increased depression, anxiety, and loneliness. The cruel irony is that this device, designed to connect us, is making us more isolated than ever. We're social creatures, evolutionarily designed for face-to-face interaction, but we've replaced it with a hollow digital substitute. It's like trying to satisfy your hunger by looking at pictures of food. But the most disturbing part? You'll probably check your phone immediately after reading this section. Maybe you already have. Your brain is literally addicted to the thing that's killing it, which makes smartphones the most successfully marketed poison since cigarettes. Number 4. Chronic stress. That constant feeling that you're juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope? It's not just unpleasant, it's lethal. Your body's stress response was designed for running from predators or fighting rival tribes, not for dealing with passive-aggressive emails from Karen in accounting. Yet your body can't tell the difference. It floods with cortisol and adrenaline either way. Chronic stress is basically keeping your body's alarm system permanently switched on, like a car alarm that never stops. Your immune system takes a nosedive, making you more susceptible to everything from the common cold to cancer. Your digestive system goes haywire, which is why stress and irritable bowel syndrome go together like social anxiety and awkward silence. Your blood vessels constrict, your blood pressure rises, and your risk of heart attack and stroke skyrockets. The modern world has essentially hacked our ancient survival mechanisms. We've created a society where psychological threats trigger the same physiological responses as physical ones. Your body can't distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and a looming deadline. It just knows you're freaking out. The real tragedy is that we've normalized this state of constant anxiety. How are you? Stressed? Same. It's the most acceptable form of slow suicide in modern society. We wear our stress like a badge of honor, as if slowly corroding our organs from the inside is somehow a sign of productivity. Congratulations on that promotion. It only cost you 5 years of your life. Number 3. Alcohol, that socially acceptable poison that somehow became the lubricant for every human interaction, from first dates to funeral receptions. We've convinced ourselves that fermented grain juice is a personality trait. I'm a whiskey guy, or I'm more of a wine girl. As if having preferences about which specific toxin you enjoy makes you interesting. Here's the sobering truth. There is no safe amount of alcohol consumption. Zero. None. Every drink damages your liver, disrupts your sleep architecture, and kills brain cells. That healthy glass of red wine myth? Complete garbage, perpetuated by people who want to feel better about their drinking habits. The antioxidants in wine can be found in grape juice without the ethanol, that's literally classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the same category as asbestos and tobacco. Alcohol increases your risk of at least 7 types of cancer, including mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, and breast. It's directly responsible for about 3 million deaths globally each year. But the real insanity is how we've normalized it. We mock people who don't drink as boring or uptight. We celebrate events by essentially poisoning ourselves. We use phrases like drink responsibly, which is like saying stab yourself responsibly or jump off this cliff responsibly. The alcohol industry has pulled off the greatest marketing con in history, convincing us that temporary disinhibition is worth permanent organ damage. Cheers to that. Number 2, poor posture. That slouch you're probably doing right now? It's slowly compressing your internal organs like a trash compactor working in slow motion. The human head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds when properly aligned, but tilt it forward just 15 degrees and the effective weight jumps to 27 pounds. At 60 degrees, the angle you're at when texting, it's a whopping 60 pounds of pressure on your spine. It's like walking around with a second grader permanently sitting on your neck. This constant strain leads to what doctors call tech neck, or what I call future hunchback syndrome. Your spine is literally reshaping itself to accommodate your terrible habits. But it's not just aesthetic. Your lungs can't fully expand when you're hunched over, reducing oxygen intake by up to 30%. Your digestive system gets compressed, leading to issues like acid reflux and constipation. It's like your body is slowly folding in on itself like a human origami project gone wrong. The most disturbing part is how this changes your hormonal balance. Studies show that poor posture increases cortisol, stress hormone, production, while decreasing testosterone and serotonin levels. So your bad posture is literally making you more stressed, less confident, and less happy. A triple threat of misery. We've evolved over millions of years to stand upright, and in less than a decade of smartphone use, we've reverted to a caveman hunch. Except cavemen only slouched when they were dead. At least they had the decency to wait until after they stopped breathing to collapse their posture. We're just getting a head start. Number 1, loneliness. Yes, that feeling you push away by scrolling through social media or binging Netflix is actually more dangerous than obesity, smoking 15 cigarettes a day, or drinking 6 alcoholic beverages daily. Humans are tribal animals who evolved to be together, but modern life has turned us into islands connected by digital bridges that don't actually satisfy our need for connection. Chronic loneliness increases inflammation throughout your body, suppresses your immune system, and raises your cortisol levels to constantly being chased by predators heights. It increases your risk of premature death by 26 to 32%. Your body literally interprets social isolation as a survival threat, because, for most of human history, being alone meant you were in serious danger. The cruel irony is that we're more connected than ever through technology, yet rates of loneliness have doubled since the 1980s. We've replaced depth with breadth, hundreds of acquaintances instead of a few close connections. We text instead of talk, like instead of love, and subscribe instead of belong. We mistake digital interaction for genuine connection, like trying to satisfy hunger by looking at pictures of food. The most heartbreaking part is how we stigmatize loneliness, making people ashamed to admit they're lonely, which only isolates them further. We've created a perfect storm, a society that structurally isolates people while simultaneously shaming them for feeling isolated. So we pretend we're fine, while our bodies are literally interpreting our social lives as a slow-motion death sentence. The most fundamental human need has become our most common deficiency. No wonder we're all dying for connection.